All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the second episode of the weekly webinar, and a warm welcome to everyone joining us right now. My name is Wasif, and joined by me is our wonderful host, Stefany, who is going to tell us a lot about our new topic today. It's all about networking and gamification. We've went to so many different events, and you always want to meet someone. You're trying to see and establish a new connection. Maybe it's a new lead, maybe it's a new recruiter. We're always trying to find out how the best way to engage with other people. You're trying to find out the best games, the best methods and mediums. And today we're trying to go and find out the best gems that Steph has for us. Steph, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Wasif. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm good. How is it in sunny Dubai?
Sunny Dubai is pretty good. I'm assuming it's the complete opposite of how it is in Toronto right now.
Oh, it is. It has a mind of its own. So Toronto, one day it's cold and the next day it's hot. So you just never know. You have to wear a jacket one day and the next day you're not. So
pretty warm here. Perfect. So while we're waiting for the rest, I know we're on time right now, so we'll give it a few more minutes. In the meantime, I know that we've got attendees joining in from all over the world. I'm based in Dubai. My colleagues based in Toronto. We'd love to learn more about where you're connecting from. So feel free to add that in the chat. And just like Wasif mentioned, today's weekly webinar, again, we're having these every Wednesday. So today's topic is going to be mainly around networking and gamification. And I won't lie, it is one of my favorite topics. It's usually client favorites as well, because who doesn't want more engagement? Who doesn't want to facilitate more networking at their events?
Absolutely. Like we always get these questions that what can we do more to keep our attendees online or at the event, just to keep them engaged, to keep them doing something. I see that we have someone from Sonoma County. Hi, Jill. Glad to have you on board. We're excited to get started soon.
Yeah, perfect. Now, right before we dive in, just as a quick overview, we've been seeing a very big trend, obviously, now that the pandemic has, bit by bit is fading away. We've seen a lot of clients shift back to in-person events, but we felt like they still miss that virtual component because, again, it has its perks. You're able to connect attendees from anywhere in the world. Yep. So what we're starting to see now is a combination of both, which is a shift towards more hybrid events. And when we talk about hybrid, for those attendees that are connecting virtually, we want to make sure that they're getting just as much networking, just as much engagement as they would in an in-person. So on today's webinar, we'll go through different ways that you guys can add these elements in your upcoming hybrid or virtual event. Perfect. So without further ado, let me dive right in. Just to confirm, Wasif, you can see my page, right, for Game On?
Yep, looks great.
Perfect. So what I have prepared here is mainly client favorites. So we'll walk you through different suggestions, but I want to highlight what are some of the most popular features that we see trending. Starting off on the list, we've got the leaderboard. Leaderboard is a really nice feature to have. To explain what it is, it's basically a point system. You'll allocate a score or a point based on different activities that your attendees are going to take. Here's an example of how this client has done it. When you register or log in, you earn certain points. Any session you attend, there are certain points as well. It's basically any engagement, any click, download, a view. And of course, these points are highly customized as well. So whichever components of the event is a top priority for you, let's say you've got a main keynote speaker and you want to make sure that that session gets really high engagement. Maybe you double the points on that session, whereas you keep the rest a bit less. So we know that seeing these scores and seeing where everyone is ranking is going to excite the attendees. It's going to add a little bit of competition between them. And again, it would be a win-win situation from your side as an event organizer. You're driving more engagement. You're getting your attendees to join these important sessions, visit these important booths. From an attendee perspective, we're earning points. And at the end of the day, if I'm ranking high on the list, I can even win different prizes. Yeah, I'll pause right here to see if there's any feedback or questions that we can help with regarding the leaderboard. Otherwise, we'll proceed with the next gamification.
Oh, we actually do have a question here. So someone's asking that just like you play a game, can you see your own points as you're using leaderboard?
Yes. So as you can see here, there's a full ranking of the different players, of all of the different attendees. You can add the images as well, and you can see who's ranking first, second, and third. Ideally, clients do want to make these visible, but in case you wanted to hide it and then maybe have that big reveal of who are the winners, you can opt for that option as well.
Okay.
Perfect. Now, next up on the list is the scavenger hunt. For the scavenger hunt, I know it's pretty explanatory. We're on the hunt to find different objects. Now, here's how we do it with vFairs. This is one example of a client that used our scavenger hunt feature, and they added different instructions, what kind of notifications the attendees would get, and they added the different objects that they're going to be hiding. Now, as a side note, you can either do this in this format, where you can say, here are the objects, you're on the hunt to find them, or you can have it sequentially, which means I find the airplane, then I would get the hint to find the beverage, and so on. So this is just to keep your attendees more and more engaged. And the really fun thing about scavenger hunt is that these items can be absolutely anything. So some of the events that we assist clients with are maybe internal events. They use our services for things like fiestas, award shows. So in that case, if it's themed around a certain, time of the year, it's Halloween, it's Christmas, it's summer. And I know now we're almost in June, so this is completely far off, but just to reminisce a bit of Christmas, I wanted to show this example where the objects could be an elf, Santa Claus, absolutely anything that you want. This here is one of my favorite examples. It was very Vegas themed. So for this event, the client hid objects like, you need to find Elvis, you need to find a deck of cards. And then what the attendees would do basically is go throughout the event and find these objects.
And can you change where you have these objects?
Absolutely. As an event organizer, you can choose in what rooms and where you want these objects to be allocated.
Okay, so like if you want someone to really go into like a main stage, you could hide more objects over there, or maybe a sponsor or something.
Exactly. And on that note, Wasif, you mentioned sponsorship. Now, we said that these items can be very customized. We've also seen both of these features, by the way, the leaderboard and the scavenger hunt being used for sponsorship. And here's how that would work. So you've got, let's say, 10 booths, out of which, let's say, 2 of them are for sponsors. And we want to drive a lot of traffic to that stand to make sure that they're getting the value of participating in that event. Simply what we do for the leaderboard is maybe multiply the points that you earn if you visit that sponsor booth. If it's the scavenger hunt, and let's assume Apple is my sponsor, I'm an Apple customer. So what we can hide as objects are their products. It would be an iPhone, an Apple Watch that you're searching for. So all of these items, like we said, could be customized and they could be branded with your sponsors' logos. And if you think about it, even the prizes that you're giving out could be something that your sponsors can help with.
Definitely. I think that's a great space for sponsor right there.
Yeah. Did we miss anything, Wasif, for scavenger hunt? Did anyone have any questions before we dive into the photo booth?
I think just 1 or 2 questions came in. One was that how can I use this in person or in a hybrid setting for the scavenger hunt?
Yeah, that's actually really fun. That's really fun, Michelle, to use. So virtually, we walked you through it. It could be hid across the platform. In person, again, you can hide objects in that in-person venue, but you can tie that up with a QR code. So they would be on a hunt to look for a logo, let's say, or a certain object. And then we discussed the mobile app in last week's webinar, and we're happy to, again, have a separate conversation with you to walk you through this feature. Again, just to see, you find the object, you scan it, and once again, it would just tick off that you've completed that hunt, basically.
Great, thanks for the answer.
Perfect. Now, who doesn't love a nice selfie or a nice boomerang? This brings me to the photo booth. Photo booth is another way that you can keep your attendees engaged. It also drives a lot of networking, because if this was, let's say, an event where I already know Wasif, and I come in here and I see his selfie over here, that might drive me to look him up and start a conversation with him. So the photo booth is very branded. If there's a specific theme, there's a specific logo, colors that you are using for your event, we can have that within the frame of these pictures. We can have boomerangs, we can add different stickers. And basically, the attendees simply go in there, take that selfie, and it gets added into the photo gallery for others to view. And if you want, we can even add likes to these pictures. The way to gamify this feature is to do one of the following. We once hosted an event that was Halloween themed. So it was literally the spookier the picture, the higher the chances that you're going to win an award. So it could be the most creative picture can earn prizes. It could be the one with the highest amount of likes can earn prizes. So again, this is a fun feature to have, and we can always add it, in a way to gamify and give away prizes as well. Here's another example of that. Now, next up, let's talk a bit more about social media. We know that some events, there's a lot of marketing, there's a lot of promotions that as event organizers you put into, there's a lot of word of mouth around the event where, people post images and then maybe there's a hashtag trending that you're using. So for that, we've got the feature of the social wall. Basically, anyone that is tweeting or they are posting about your event and they're using that hashtag will appear within the social wall. This is one example of it. And here's another one that is even more dynamic with different images as well. And again, the tweets or the posts are coming in from your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, and so on. This is a very nice feature as well to have to just create more buzz around the event. And we can add the option of adding manual posts or simply liking these posts as well.
And Stefany, there's a question in the chat. So how do you connect all the different posts on the same page? What's it connected with?
Can you elaborate further in terms of designs?
Is that more of a hashtag or an account? Or are they all centralized?
Perfect. Yes, in that case, there are different hashtags. As long as you're utilizing that, it will appear in the social wall. And these could be approved, by the way. So in case you want to check and then approve or decline any of these posts appearing publicly, you have that option as well.
Okay.
Perfect. Next up on the list of gamifications is spin the wheel. Now, spin the wheel is pretty fun to have as well. The way that we've seen clients use it as best practices, I'll share two examples. So the first is what I'm walking you through over here, whereby the items on the wheel could represent different prizes that someone could be eligible to win. So in this case, you could be in a session, you can ask a question for your attendees, and then the one that got the answer right, you spin the wheel on their behalf, and then they would earn, in this case, a $50 Amazon gift card. Another way we've seen clients use it, and again, there's many more options, but we tend to see these two being very popular. Another way is that the wheel can have all of the names of basically the participants of your event. If it's an internal event that you're doing, it could be the name of the employees, and you can simply spin the wheel, and if it lands on Wasif, then I need to address my question to him. Now, there's a lot more that I could, any questions, Wasif, anything that we got in the chat?
No, I think we're all good.
Perfect. Perfect. And thanks for your help with that. I'm not the best at multitasking. So there is a lot more that we can talk about in terms of driving more engagement, but I did want to mainly focus on the most popular and really the funnest features for you to include. But aside from all of this, you can add, for example, if you want to have polling, if you want to have embedded quizzes, trivias, surveys. So we support all of these options as well. And aside from that, we do have embedded chat rooms that facilitate one-on-one conversations that have text, audio, and video calls, or even group conversations as well that you can have. With this, we've concluded the engagement portion. Now, while the rest of the presentation also does fall under the engagement bracket, I want to highlight more on the networking opportunities.
Sure. And Stefany, just while you do that, we have a question from Peter. Is it possible to offer virtual swag bags?
Yes, we can have virtual swag bag options as well.
Okay. There you go, Peter. And you can add documents or virtual videos as well, and get reports. Thanks, Stefany.
Perfect. All right. Now, back to networking. When we say networking, I just want to clarify, we're talking about networking that is not just attendee to attendee. It could be facilitating networking with speakers, with sponsors, with exhibitors, with other users, and so on. It could be a recruitment event that you want to link, attendees or candidates in this case with recruiters among so many different use cases. So first on the list in terms of suggestions and popular features would be the roundtable networking. Roundtable networking, before we dive into what it is, we understand that networking is one component and rather an important component of your event. But during your event, you've got different sessions, you've got different booths and different elements as well. So I want to let you guys know that this feature can be timed. There could be a certain time during your event, maybe the last hour, that we open up this feature and kind of push everyone to get on the roundtable networking room and start engagement with other users. So for this feature, we can add as many tables as we want, basically, and these could revolve around different topics. So we can have a sales experts conversation, product enthusiasts conversations, and there is full branding, full description and overview about what each table is going to be about. And as you can see, there's a certain number of seats within every single table. So the great thing here is that some of these seats could also be reserved. And if we've got any Friends fans, you can see that we've got the seat reserved for Ross, and two other people can basically jump in and out to speak with him.
That's Joey and Chandler.
Exactly. So this could be, again, chat. It could be conversations via audio, or it could even be with camera. We mentioned earlier that this could be used across different use cases as well. So I wanted to just diversify the options and show you how another client has used it for a recruitment fair. So for recruitment fairs, you can have a seat reserved to a senior analyst, let's say. And then there's 8 seats where people jump in and out and speak with him. And again, you can have as many of these tables with as many seats as you want. At the moment, we can have around 20 plus, but you can let us know if your requirement was for more than that.
And just to add to that, you can also, like, if you have a different brand, you can change it. If it's a benefit fair, any vendor, you can brand this completely. So it takes the pressure off of starting your own conversation. You just drop in and go into another one.
Exactly. All right, final 2 on the list. And I know that I keep saying, and this is one of my favorites, but I can't help it. So the next one's pretty fun. For the next on the list, I'm going to show you guys a quick video overview. This feature is what we call matchmaking. Simply put, it's like speed dating. So we are connecting the attendees with one another in either functionality. It could be completely at random. So I might get paired up with Wasif, I might get paired up with anyone else, or it could be smart-based matchmaking, whereby if I come in here and I mention, I give my answers to certain questions, maybe levels of interest, maybe the industry that I'm from, the location that I'm at, accordingly, it matches me with like-minded individuals to network around these topics. Here's an example of how that works. In this case, we've asked a couple of questions, and then based on the answers that I put in, the system will find a match with another attendee. Now, as an event organizer, you can decide how long they are going to be in a conversation. There's a timer here. It could be 3 minutes, it could be 5, it could be 10. You can even add ice-breaking questions. And then there is the ability to share contacts with that other individual. So if you don't want to extend that duration, but rather I want to share my details to Wasif so we can, connect later, I can easily do one of both options. Any questions on this feature here? Let us know your thoughts, your feedback, if you feel like this would be helpful as well for your upcoming conferences. In the meantime, let me open up the final feature we've got here. So the final feature that I have, yes, Wasif, go ahead.
Just before you go forward, so one more question. So for the icebreakers, the question is that can we include any type of question, or are these already filled preset icebreakers?
It could be anything. It could be about the event itself, or you can add any kind of questions. Are you a summer person or a winter person? Or it could be which sessions did you find interesting? Let's say, again, either event or the topics that are revolving around the sessions that you're having, or just typical ice-breaking questions.
Okay. Thanks, Steph.
Perfect. Final feature is what we call a spatial connect. It's a very metaverse-like networking opportunity. There's different room designs basically that you can choose from. This could look like you are in a meeting room. It could look like you're at a beach party. It could look like anything you want. And then attendees will be able to move around that room and have conversations with others. Picture it as an in-person event. If I'm walking in the hall and I bump into you, Wasif, so as long as we're around there, we're going to hear everyone else around us and we're going to be in that group conversation. And then the further I move away from you, the less I'm going to hear that conversation. And it's exactly the same thing in this case. Every individual's name that you're seeing here has, if you notice, a radius, a circle around their name. Anyone that comes close to that will be able to see, hear, and basically speak with each other. And we do facilitate chat in parallel as well. So it's an amazing tool to have to drive more networking at your events. Perfect. Well, I hope you found this informing. I will redirect it over to Wasif just to see in case we got any additional questions that we might have missed in the chat. Otherwise, if you've got anything else pending, let us know. We're going to keep an eye on the chat as well to assist with any questions that you might have.
All right. Well, thanks, Stefany, for the great overview. I do have one question for you. Which one of these was your favorite?
That's a very difficult question. I love the scavenger hunt. Okay, I'm going to pick at least two. I love the scavenger hunt and I love the spatial connect.
Okay, for me, it's always been roundtable. I don't know why, but I just love that you can just keep going in and out in roundtables, and it's just easier to network. And it simulates like an in-person environment. So
exactly. And on that note, we'd love to hear your favorites as well. So feel free to let us know in the chat if you don't have any questions. Maybe let us know if there's any specific feature that you liked as well, or you might consider having at future virtual or hybrid events that you might have.
Great. Well, I think we're getting some feedback from everyone. Thank you for joining this session today. If you have any questions, feel free to comment or feel free to email us. We do this every week, so you can join us here and on Wednesday, same time. We look forward to seeing you here with a brand new topic, and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Wasif, and thanks everyone for listening. It was great having you guys on the call. I hope you have an amazing day ahead, and we can't wait to see you guys again next week.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Stefany. Take care, everyone. Bye.